right, so what's up everybody, this is Ruben Garcia and this is a beautiful day, and today we're with Ryan Harrell. Came in and wanted to talk to us, so what's up brother, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going amazing. So if you could, tell everyone who you are, what you do, how you do it, and all that good jazz.
My name is Ryan Harrell. I'm from Fayetteville. I built and sold 3 ad agencies, and now I'm in the tattoo world now. I own tattoo shops and throw conventions, and I do have some digital marketing stuff going on, but for the most part it's all tattoo related now.
Gotcha. Okay, so you said you've sold 3
agencies, yeah.
3 agencies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talk to us about that. Was that your first entry into business building or?
Yeah, we had, in college I started selling on eBay and building websites for some local web design shops, and back then you could charge whatever you wanted to. So I was coming in doing it for like $200-300 and the guy was loving me.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it for myself after I lost my scholarship, came back to Fayetteville. And AIT bought my first company.
Nice.
So I went to work for AIT for a little while. This is where I first met Kirk DeVere.
Gotcha.
And then I started another, I worked my non-compete with him, and then started another agency that then got bought by the 219 group.
Gotcha.
And then the 219 group brought me back in and said, you know, Kirk had some other things going on, wanted me to kind of run the creative portion of it, and made me a partner. And then after a few years, I just got kind of burned out on it. Wanted to try something new, and my girlfriend at the time was selling her tattoo shop, and I was like, hey, this idea, this is an opportunity to do something completely different. So that's what I did. I bought it. And,
what had you move completely to the left side on that?
You know, I don't know. I think just doing the same thing for 15 years.
Yeah.
And we had grown at one point in time. We had 15 employees in our agency downtown.
Gotcha.
And you know, I just went through a divorce. We just finalized a divorce, and I said, you know, like I had always, I'm a creative guy, so I said like it'd be cool to get into tattooing.
Right.
When I was younger, tattooing was not as cool as it is now. It's definitely not as mainstream.
Right.
And so I just gave it a go. I mean, it's creative, it's sales, which are 2 things that I'm heavy on. And so I was able to kind of jump in and hit the ground running. So.
Gotcha. How were you able to pull that marketing background into tattooing? Like, how was that helped?
I mean, so sales and marketing is essential to any business.
Agreed.
But most definitely on the tattoo side, you don't even realize it, but all the tattoo artists, they don't work for the shop. They actually work in the shop. So we actually, like
a hairstylist, right?
Kind of, yeah. Like every tattoo shop almost runs the same. The guys come in, they're all 1099, say, come and go whenever they leave. You give them some, you know, rules, they bring their own stuff in, and then there's some sort of split between, you know, us and them. Well, that means that every single time a tattoo comes in, we have to find out what their budget is, you know, prospect some, figure out a little more information about them. Then I have to go back to the artist and say, hey, they want this, and this is what they have. And then the artist says, no, I'll do it for X, Y, Z. So we have to actually sell the artist, and we have to sell the person at the front counter.
Gotcha.
So I just kind of used that and started hiring salespeople to help run our shops. And then our shops have grown tremendously. We have 6,000 square feet, 20 artists. I mean, we're the biggest shop in Fayetteville and one of the bigger ones on the East Coast. So.
Gotcha. So, congrats.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For the ones who are listening, who are those tattoo shops? Throw it out there.
American Tattoo Society.
Gotcha.
And our convention is All American Tattoo Convention. So,
which y'all just had that. Just came to town.
Last weekend. I just got back from a vacation to unwind from that.
Still recuperating?
Yeah, still trying to recuperate a little bit. It's like 4 days of extreme stress, and then it happens once you get everybody seated in their booth.
Yeah.
And everything's great, you know, it just kind of unwinds and it runs itself. You put people in place and they all excel. All my guys are great. So once we figured out where everyone was going to sit, you know, their booth-wise, then yeah, it was easy. But, you know, 4 days of extreme stress and setup it's a job for sure.
Yeah.
I don't envy Kerry King and all these guys at the Dogwood Festival, because they put on something that's, you know, 100 times bigger than ours.
Yeah.
And it's outside and you have the elements and all kind of stuff, and I can't imagine the type of stress she's under right now. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
Even for you to pull something off like that though, okay, so how long have you been doing that?
This is our 2nd year.
The 2nd year?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'll say kudos to you, because I remember when the first time it came, I thought this thing has been around forever.
Yeah.
Because it just exploded so fast.
Sure. Well, you know, talking to Bill Clayton, who owns the oldest tattoo shop in town.
Yeah.
He's been tattooing for 30 plus years in Fayetteville
Right.
alone.
Yeah.
Talking to him, he said, well, I never wanted to tell anybody how great of a tattoo area Fayetteville was, because then they would know. And I'm like, wow, okay. So for years, no one knew what a great place Fayetteville was to tattoo.
Right.
Tattoo artists are starting to move here. They're starting to see what a great place. We got 3 shops in town that have over 15 artists, which is crazy for a city of our size.
Right.
And it's because 90% of infantry is tattooed.
Yeah.
So I use those kind of information whenever I was making a decision what to do next. And Nicole was telling me like, oh, the shop's too much. It's a headache. It's stressful. And I noticed a lot of deficiencies in the way it was ran and sales process and stuff like that. So I said, I think I can fix those things.
Yeah, because you saw the opportunity.
And I seen the opportunity in Fayetteville. And I was like, this is a great way for me to be creative and things like that. I use all my marketing and sales and all that to brand and build it and make it feel like it's been around for a long time. So,
great job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We also went to 25 conventions in a year and a half. So I went and I did a ton of networking. Yeah. Which isn't, it is, but it isn't like huge in tattooing yet. So when we were going around talking to people and learning more about their the different promoters and different sponsors and stuff like that. People were so willing to help you if you just ask, and we just asked. We said, "Hey, what about this, that, and the other?" And they're like, "Well, here's what you got to do, bud." And when we were having issues with the health department and with the city and different things trying to get the convention here, we used a lot of information and stuff from other cities and other promoters, which really helped us to jump those hurdles because. A lot of times, and I feel like a lot of people have been told no in Fayetteville. Right. This will never happen in Fayetteville. It can't happen. And I just kind of sat there and was like, well, there's got to be a way it can happen, right? Right. The obstacle's the way, so we just got to figure out what. That's right. We got to figure out what the issue is, and then there's nothing that they could tell me or say to me that was going to stop me from throwing the convention once I made my mind up that it was going to happen. And it's been great. It's been a blessing. We're getting calls from other bases wanting us to go there. So. Within the next few months, we'll be going to other bases and checking stuff out. But Fayetteville will always be its home and its biggest show because I don't know if I can handle another show as big as this. At least without a lot more help. So. Yeah.
So at that time, was the city just wanting to see the results of bringing something like this? And it was hard to see those results because it was never done. So you went and kind of looked at what kind of impact it made on the economy and other things in other markets and just brought it to Fayetteville?
The economic impact portion of it, I didn't really have to explain a whole lot. CBB and the city were 100% on board from the very beginning. John and those guys were great. They were great to have. The health department was worried about the size because I rented all 75,000 square feet of the expo center. I'm in a 10X. I'm not going to go in there and just throw a little something and put a couple. I said we're going to blow it out. Right. And I asked for exclusivity for a number of years and I got it. But I only told them. It's kind of cocky of me. I said I only want 1 year because once I do it one time, no one's going to want to do it after me. Right. So getting to the health department to look at the size and scope of things. And say this is what you can and can't do because plumbing has to be. We installed 50 sinks in the crown just so we could have it. Wow. Yeah, so there's like a lot of different little things that the health department was like, well, you can't do that because you need 50 sinks, and I'm like, well, I'll just buy 50 sinks. Yeah. What
exactly. So they're just giving you answers on what needs to happen in order for you to pull this off.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that a lot of people that came and inquired about it, and when they start giving him, hey, this is what you have to do.
Too many hurdles.
There's too many hurdles. Yeah. And so we'll just go to another place where they're a little more lax on that. Because I've been in North Carolina shows where they have the standalone sinks. They're not plumbed in. Right. And I figured we can use a mix of those and the ones that are in there, but no, everything had to be done by the book, which is great. I do like that Fayetteville is worried about health and safety. We are too,
for sure.
But 50 sinks. Was a lot of sinks.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Did y'all? And so this is kind of my nerd side on this. Did you guys document that, like, to watch the growth of I guess for you guys moving forward and kind of putting in those things? Is all that stuff documented? Can we watch video of that? And,
yeah. Well, we had video shot. But, the first video folks that came along shot a ton of video and they were there pretty much the whole time. Yeah. And then something happened, some crashes or something. They came up and said, we only have this little bit of footage. So no way. It was pretty sad. And this being the first year and whatnot, I really wish we'd have had more video footage. This year we hired a different videographer. We had Sullivan TV was in there, 24/7 Ink Magazine. So there's a lot more people documenting it. There's going to be a lot more videos out this year, I'm sure. But all our stuff, selling TV, which is a huge brand. They have their videographer is going to be putting together a convention recap video that they do for all the big conventions. And so we were one of their ones that they were looked at to do a recap on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was surfing through Instagram Live. Got me. So I started moving through that platform to see what was going on, and I saw my boy Chop on there too. So that's what captured me. For you guys to pull that big event off, I'm assuming you had a team. How important is it to have a strong team to pull something like that off?
Yeah, I mean, I can't make enough Facebook posts thanking them and congratulating them and what an amazing job they did. There's like no way for me to do it. We have 3 assistants and all the folks at our shop. This year we kept the shop open, so they were jumping between the shop and the convention all week long. All of our guys were. And I mean, it was just awesome to see them work and come in. And I mean, some of these guys were working on a couple hours of sleep every day.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were just sitting around watching TV, working on a couple hours of sleep. I mean, they were walking the convention floor, also 5,000 square feet, running the shop and everything. So, having good people is super imperative. And, a lot of times people get, I don't know, they feel intimidated by people that are, strong or are good at different things. But I say just bring them in and let them do what they do. You know? Like that's kind of get out of their way. Obviously, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Some people get so wrapped up in the title that they want to be the leader or the CEO, and then somebody that is mastered it in their field, they want to put it in a box to say that they can control it. And it's good that you see it that way, where someone has something that they're passionate about and they do it at a high level. Let them run with it, because that becomes leverage for you too, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we have several businesses, and we're going to be opening shops on tattoo shops on military bases. So like we have a lot of places for people to go. So they don't have to stay in one position. Like they can move. They can move to the other side of the country. They can grow with us as we grow. So I think that too plays in getting good people, opportunity for advancement, growth and stuff. So I think they see that and they're like, wow, this is some people that are going somewhere with this company, and they jump in and work hard. So that's kind of helped us to attract some good talent too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Have you had talent that pushes you to grow a bigger vision? People that have, and I'm not saying you don't have a big vision.
Sure. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think. Sometimes they'll say like, hey, what about if USA was a sponsor? And I'm like, yeah, let's get USA as a sponsor, and we did. So sometimes stuff like that, but there's never anyone that's like, maybe we can do it bigger next year. You know? Like everyone's kind of like, we see this is kind of tapped out. Let's we could do something smaller somewhere else or something, but like throwing a concert at the same time or introducing something else was just kind of out of the question. But our guys do push us. I mean, they do keep us straight. They do put us in the right mind frame every time we come in there. That's right. We just have really good folks, so that's part of the reason why we've been able to do what we've been able to do. So it's kind of remarkable to see how many similarities there are in business, right? Yeah. Because as working with real estate agents, and we talk about the people that they're bringing onto their team to grow a big business, sometimes that talent will push them in order to grow a bigger vision, right? And sometimes you see talent leaving teams because they've outgrown the vision. Oh yeah.
And like what you said, this is how we've done pretty well of attracting talent, because our vision's so big.
Yeah, sure.
They get to grow inside my vision.
Yeah, and I worked with a ton of real estate agents back when I had my last agency, 19 group. It's pretty much all we did. Yeah. And we did some stuff with MWR and some different contracts. But I mean, I've seen that all the time. They bring a new agent in. This new agent, much like yourself, come in, kicking doors down, ready to turn the world on its head. And some of the guys that are above them are like, wait a second, guy. We're not that kind of place. And it's good that people like yourself or other people that have a huge vision and come in and don't want to be, constrained by what other people think is, normal, can kind of come in and act how they want to act, and do what they want to do and grow as big as they want to grow. So it's good that you found a place like this and this podcast and different things to grow. And, I think it's awesome that whenever people come in and they push us, but I will say that Nicole and I, my wife Nicole and I, are, we every day. We live that. I don't know if you follow Grant Cardone, but we do Well, there you go.
Boom.
We follow the 10x,
Yeah,
mentality.
Yep.
And we always, every day is like, what can we do now? And every day it's like last night we were game planning until like 2 in the morning, just trying to figure out what's next and how do we get ready for next year? How do we get ready for our base shops? The next one's coming down, what type of information? I mean, it's just every day we're pushing ourselves. So if someone comes in and starts pushing us harder than we're pushing ourselves, that person's getting hired on the spot.
Yeah.
There's no ifs or buts. So
that's awesome. So what now? You kind of rolled me there.
Mm-hmm.
What is next? I mean, you guys are contemplating this. You're chewing on it. What do you see is next?
And we're opening more shops. I mean, we have we're gonna open 10 tattoo shops in the next 2 years.
Keep following that formula, right?
10x. And then we're gonna well, it's actually we were given a letter of intent on 5 shops, and then we started getting contacted by other shops in other areas, different locations, on and off base.
Right.
Because they've seen our brand in different places. Or we send our guys out to conventions. Social media wise, we have a pretty good following and pretty good foothold there. We push that as much as we can. But that, and then growing our convention. I mean, we want to do maybe at least 1 or 2 conventions in other places outside of Fayetteville.
Right.
And our digital advertising agency is doing well right now. So it's more like a digital billboard company, not really like an ad agency. I've kind of I've let my brother kind of take that over and run with it because I just don't have time right now. But it's going really well. And I try to inject myself whenever I can, but he's doing a great job of it. So,
what would you say? Because I love the marketing world, and I love seeing what's coming next. What would you say is one thing that we should be looking out for? Not just real estate agents, anyone who's growing a business. What kind of space should we be looking in right now in the marketing world, or advertising, or?
Yeah, I think that a lot of earned media is going to be huge. And that's something that we always push ourselves. If I can get some earned media from somewhere that's not necessarily paid for but just given, I think people are starting to see through the ads and the guys sitting in front of his I'm making $100 million of a underwear type lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's really real? Well, the only thing that's real outside of the fake news that's kind of swirling the world, that slogan, is that if you hear it from someone else or it comes from someone else, then obviously it must be legit. That's why when your friend tells you that, there was almost an abduction at Cross Creek Mall, everybody freaks out because they're like, someone on Facebook told me, holy cow.
Yeah.
So I believe that companies pushing more towards trying to get earned media status or some sort of push from other companies, individuals, different key holders will be huge. It already has been huge. So I think people are going to start using it more just because they see, okay, I'm getting horrible returns on my videos. Yeah. They're working great now, but who's saying next year or so that people are going to get tired of the same kind of guy in front of a whiteboard, pointing at stuff. Yeah. And they're going to say, I've seen this 100 million times. What's now? What's next?
So you think it almost sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's going back to the basics.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can, like every business, sales and marketing wise, is very basic, right? Just take care of the customer. You promote the heck out of yourself in your business. You brand yourself. You brand your business. Like as long as those things happen, and you provide a great service or product, I mean, you're gonna do well. Just don't treat the customer like crap. Show up every day and be awesome, and push your product to make sure it's the best. Push your people to make sure it's the best. Take care of the. And every time someone comes to one of our shops, I want them to feel like they've been there before, even if they've never been there before. Right. Like they've known everybody. We give them a big, "What's up, man? How's it going?" Like I've known you forever, and you're coming in here. We're hugging, and the guy's hugging me. He's like, "What the hell am I hugging this guy?" So for time,
I don't know, but I love him.
Yeah, I love that guy. He's great, right? So I want everybody to act that way when they're at the shop, and it's hard to get artists or creatives to be that way, but they're kind of coming around.
Well, yeah. So, do you think that they see the importance of it? Like, it builds a culture. It builds it to where when you build a strong culture like that, people talk about it, right? For sure. And that's returning customers that will be coming in to have more of your art on them.
Yeah. I mean, I try to keep the artist, right? Because I'm a creative, so I want to make sure they're creative 100% of the time. Right. If you want to go draw, you want to go do that. That's great. You don't have to interact with the customer if you want to. Right. Like, this is the way we'd like for you to do it, right? I want to take the headaches away from some of my people and put it on the others that are better at it. Like my salespeople are way better at handling the person that comes in and says, "I just want a tattoo." Right. I don't know what I want. I just want a tattoo. Right. They can take you from I don't know what I want to I want a butterfly on my back before an artist is like, well, throws their hands up and walks away.
Yeah.
For the artist, great. Go, be creative, draw, work on stuff, work on your craft, paint. I have all that stuff there ready for my guys. I want them to be creative. I want them to kind of do what they do, and then I push my guys to, to kind of be better, front end folks to be better at pushing my clients and helping to sell them, so that way the artists don't have to. So, it's kind of like the old make sure everybody's in the right seat on the bus type thing.
Yep, same thing we do, yeah.
So if I have an artist that they're talking to people and it's like, I don't know what I want, the artist's going to say, well, I don't know what the hell you want either, and he's going to turn and walk away.
Yep.
But if I have my salespeople out there, they're going to be like, okay, this is how I bridge that gap, right? This is how I take a person from, I don't know what I want, to telling them what they want. Because most people are just waiting for you to tell them what to do. And those are very, basic principles that no matter what business you're in, if you follow those things, you should be able to do well.
Yeah, because naturally I start thinking, so if somebody comes in and they know that they want to buy a home, they just don't know what it looks like. I know that process. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, how does that process go for you? I walk in, I know I want a sleeve or a tattoo or whatever it is, but I don't know what it looks like. What's the process? How do you pull that out?
You start asking probing questions, like what are you into, what do you like, how old are you, got any kids, are you military, which almost everyone is here. And we ask those questions, and we start hearing stuff that they say over and over, right? And we're like, okay, you said this, well, I like living in Germany, when I listen to whatever. And so we kind of take all those things and put them together. It's like, what about this? And we start showing them ideas.
Yeah.
And then it turns into, and then at the end of it, they're always like, well, I was really wanting this.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, she showed me that in the first place. But, it's funny when they show us that.
And how close?
How close it got to what our girls had kind of picked out for them, idea-wise, So,
that's confirmation that you guys are doing it the right way, right?
For sure. And, I just think it's really interesting that most people come in as like, I have no clue, but then they have a clue, and they show me exactly what they do.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much the same way. Like, you come in and you're like, I don't know what I want to be. I want to be close to base, and you're like, have you ever looked at Harnett County? Or have you ever looked at whatever, right? And I never even thought about Harnett County. Well, why is that important to you?
Yep.
Why do you want to live nearby base? So, okay, cool. Well, you can come through Spring Lake, go this way. You're not in Hope Mills traffic or whatever. There's a way to kind of figure out what they're wanting. Is schools a problem? Okay,
that's right.
Is schools a problem? You probably don't want to be over here, right? Is you don't have any kids? Great. You can go wherever you want to. They show you a couple of great new, whatever. So, obviously someone with 5, 6 kids you wouldn't put downtown.
Right.
If they wanted to be that area, you put them in Haymont, or you put them out in one of the newer neighborhoods in Grace Creek or Harnett, or wherever you guys, have a lot of great builders everywhere.
Yeah.
So. But same stuff, man.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, and I kind of want to go through that process now, because the wife and I were talking about it. Because by the way, I got her to get her first tattoo.
Nice.
With, oh gosh, she's gonna kill me. She's in Myrtle Beach. No, she's in Wilmington. Excuse me. She's in Wilmington, and I saw her at the convention.
Okay.
Through her Snapchat. Oh, she's gonna kill me if she hears this. Anyways, she's the one who gave my wife her first tattoo.
Okay.
And now, she loves elephants, so she got an elephant tattoo. So now I'm looking at, we're discussing, she's hooked a little bit. Yeah. She doesn't know what. So, later, would love to do that process.
Yeah, sure.
And see what we come up with. But I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. So I know that listeners to this podcast love Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, not only is it coming up in this conversation, it comes up in a lot of conversations.
Sure.
The guy doesn't get enough credit, right?
No, he does not.
So how has he changed your world? Besides the 10X?
Well, so when I bought my partner out at my second agency.
Okay.
And he was a sales guy. He sold everything. I just was a creative guy. And then he left, and I was like, holy crap, I gotta sell. I have to. We eat what we killed, right? So I had to find something else to kill, and so I started consuming information about sales, and grants kept coming up. This is back when, this is way back when he definitely didn't have the multimedia team he has now, and he was just shooting little videos with his daughters when they were very little, his first daughter.
Yeah.
And I heard of him selling a guy on the phone, and he was like, they got $500 a month. I can't handle $500 a month. And he's like, no, it's not. It's $32,000. That's what the life of this contract is. You got to think about $32,000. And the way he just kind of broke it down, I was like, wow, the selling thing is a lot tougher than I thought it was gonna be. I thought I just went in there and smiled, and everybody was like, great, I need a website. Here we go. but no, like I had to figure out what the issue was. Like, is it an objection? Is it a stopping point? Is it something I can overcome? Like, and so I just started reading his info and other great sales people too. But Grant really stuck out because of his style and the way that he did things, and he thought huge. Like, everybody's like, think big, whatever. But Grant's like, really, here's a plan. Work backwards every single time.
Yep.
Figure out what you want. Like, know the math, and just work backwards. And so I kind of got into it then. And then after my divorce, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I had a lot of companies that wanted me to consult with them one-on-one. Just be. And I said, well, I can do that, right? If I'm burnt out on this, I can go do that. And I'm like, but I got to know what I'm doing, right? I have to do it big. So I started, following, the university and all this other stuff.
Did you actually sign up to that?
Yeah, just to make sure that I was. I'm not on it now, but I was.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that I was where I needed to be.
Yeah.
And learned so much. I mean, insane amounts from him. But it was during that time that I met Nicole, and I was trying to figure out what I was doing. Was when I really started consuming a lot of his stuff. I mean, daily I was watching his daily videos, and replying to him, and all of his team members that were in all those videos are following all those guys and interacting with each one of them. As some of them are still there, some of them left and done their own thing or done whatever. But I still follow them. I still talk, chat with them, and online. But
so he's looking right now. He sent out a video yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
He's looking right now. He's recruiting pretty hard. He's like, do you hate Rhea? Is it raining and you hate rain?
Yeah.
Come to Florida.
Rain in Miami.
Yeah.
I can see him saying that. No, he's always looking for good people. I mean, especially ever since he moved to Miami, and he's kind of been on growth.
Huge growth
trajectory.
Right.
So, I mean, I always read stuff about design and marketing, but it was more like the concepts of it. But whenever I had to start selling for myself, and I had to, find out what I was going to close next, that's when I really started getting into self-help and sales books and reading things. Now I read, 2-3 books a week. Like I just finished Crushing It.
Boom.
And I see it here. And Never Split the Difference and Hardcore Closer, Ryan Stewman. So I finished those 3 books in the past couple weeks. Some of them I read, like Hardcore Closer. Ryan doesn't believe in audiobooks or something, I don't know. But everything else I consume through audio.
Same here.
I will buy like Grant's hard copy just so I have it, but I always listen to it because it's just easier for me to consume it while I'm driving. I drive a lot, so that's a treat, dude. Right?
Same here. It's the same. And by the way, it's a write-off, right? It's education.
100%. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And besides, so Crushing It, listen to it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go off the book.
Oh yeah,
and
I love that.
Yeah,
audio because especially Gary, because he's like off script.
Yeah, Heads up.
There's actually we're 60 billion now, or whatever. Which is only a couple of months, but everything kind of changes. And it's funny how I read this first book, Crush It, and Crushing It, he's basically like validating all the stuff that he said back then, right? And showing all these people that did exactly what he tells them to do and how it's worked out for him. He's basically like, listen, if you didn't listen the first time or you didn't go all in the first time, here's some people that did it. And here's all the things that I got right. Here's a couple of things I got wrong, but for the most part, everything was right. So you should really listen to what he's saying. I mean, I thought it was a good book as far as that part goes, because a lot of what Gary says is like in the book, he said over exaggerate a lot of stuff, right? The same way a lot of people do. A lot of great business people do over exaggerate for theatrics, right? But
it's their story.
Yeah, right, sure. Yeah. but the root of everything is always correct. I mean, so when he comes in and he's like, he makes a huge announcement like Facebook underpaid for this. You're gonna blah. They just stole it.
Right.
Well, they did get a good deal on it, but not a lot of people could see that because $1 billion is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you look at the 30, 40 that it was worth in the coming years,
that's right.
You're like, wow, that's okay. Well, maybe they did, but the way he kind of went about it, if he would have come in and said, I think they underpaid, underpaid for it, and this is why.
Right.
Then everybody would have been like, oh, cool. But when Gary comes in and is like, they stole it, blah blah blah. He's, the way he kind of comes at it makes people turn off to him. And once you get past that, same way with Grant. Once you get past that, you're like, wow, this guy's really, really smart. So.
Yeah, and I think the energy. So, dirt, right? Dirt and clouds. When I was in the dirt, and you're building something that no one else can see but you. And I mean, there was no sleep. Like, if you go back to like old Instagram days, and you go scroll down to my Instagram. Like, I am up super late. but it's all worth it. And his energy, you know, he was coffee for me.
Yeah.
You know, and he was validating what I'm doing now. It will be worth it. And he was screaming at me though, so it didn't turn me off.
Yeah.
His screaming and high energy kept me moving forward. And he's on a different level, so you know he's in the business of flipping. Well, he's gonna get in the business of flipping businesses
Sure.
to get him to a point to where he can, you know, buy the jets, right?
Yeah, really.
But so when he says that they stole it in his world, they stole it, you know, for compared to where it's at right now, Instagram,
Yeah, sure.
where it's right now. So, yeah, no, that's awesome. So what else did you get? And just real quick, what else did you get out of that book, Crushing It, besides him validating everything that he said?
A lot of stories of people I had no, you know, clue about. Obviously, we know who Lewis Howes is and some of these other people that came on. But like when the guys are coming on, and this guy's not like, let's say Foolies, for example. The guy's not making a ton of money, but he's out here doing what he likes. Like,
That's
there's different ways to be like, you know, I've made more money in my life doing different things.
Right.
But to be doing exactly what I'm doing right now and being able to wake up when I want or whatever, like that's what it's all about. I can get up at 11. I choose to wake up early.
Right.
But if I wanted to be like, you know what, I'm asleep in today. I have a great team. They're in place. Everything's kind of in place. Let's have a meeting. You know, I can do that, and that's where like I feel like that. Even though I've had more money at different times in my life, this is the happiest that I've been with work-life balance, if there's even such a thing.
It's counterbalance.
Yeah, like I feel like what I'm doing right now is like, when they asked Zuckerberg, how often do you work? I heard you only work 50 hours a week, and he's like, well, if you only count the time in my office, then I'm only working 50 hours a week, but I'm always working. So I'm always thinking about my business. I'm always thinking about the next thing. That's kind of where I am right now. Like 100% of the time, I'm thinking about what's next.
That's
I'm on social media. I'm like, wow, look at this tattoo. Wonder if this guy's, what he's doing next April. I'd like to have him come down, or maybe he wants to come guest spot, or maybe I want to go get tattooed by him. Let's fly to wherever to get tattooed by him or whatever. Like that's something that I feel like I definitely couldn't do when I had my agency. I was so tied to everybody, all those accounts.
Right.
And everybody's business is their baby. That's how they pay their bills and feed their family. And so every day I got a call, and we had like 50, 60 clients on retainer. Some of them were smaller, but some of them were big. And they would call and say, "Why isn't this working?" And I'm like, "Well, we just started last week. Like, just give some time."
Yeah.
So like, and I understand it's a lot of money when you're paying marketing, and a lot of times marketing, at least in the past, has been this kind of thing someone did behind the curtains. Especially when it's on the web or social or something, people just don't understand it. Stress-wise, in the marketing world, it's just through the roof. Thinking, if you ever sit down and think like, wow, if I don't do good by this company and they do bad, or they spend all their money, or they're upside down or whatever, they might not be able to pay their people who then can't pay their bills. Right. And can't feed their kids and stuff. And I'm like, I gotta make this happen. So you stay up and you meet the deadlines, and we still do the same thing in tattooing. We're up late. We're doing different stuff. The guys are tattooing until 3, 4 in the morning sometimes to give the perfect experience and tattoo to them. But it's just not the same. Stress wise, it's not the same on me. So yeah. Honestly, I don't even know where we're going with this, but I'm just on it. But,
well, I think, and there's a good point that you said in there is the counterbalance, right?
Sure.
And maybe not making as much, and by the way, like everyone's chasing the dollar. They're I have to be that person on Instagram or YouTube where I'm sitting in my shorts, I'm making a killing, it's about the money thing. But I think you're exactly right, and by the way, we run into challenges like that with agents when we say, what does leverage look like in your business?
Yeah.
You might have to pay for it, but understand you're not, yes, you could do that task, but if you were to pay and it just goes bigger, but I'll just go just in a little bit. If you were to pay someone else, you're able to get X amount of time back.
Yeah, sure.
Now look at that time. What could you do with it? Would you like to sit in your shorts and watch Ren and Stimpy like at home?
Yeah.
You can do it.
You
may not be.
Yeah,
I know. I had to drop that, right? But it's like if more time is something you're looking for, you have the capital to make that happen, and you'll be happier. Now, what I would suggest if I were helping coach you, is I would say let's allocate some of that time of getting more business, right? So we can grow this thing bigger, and eventually you do have a team where this business turns into an asset versus, you being in it, you being that
Oh, sure.
person who has to move the buttons.
Well, like so in business, especially smaller, when you're a small real estate agent, you have a small real estate firm or
Right.
small tattoo shops, you're either working in the business or you're working on the business.
That's right, 100%.
And if you're always working in the business, it's hard to work on the business,
Yep.
right? So like
Agreed.
when I was selling and designing, or selling and running the creative, I got nothing done. And you start hiring people to do the creative, and you don't want to release the reins of that, right? Because the look and a lot of real estate agents and agencies, and they have logos that I've designed or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And so I look and I see this logo, and it's something that I've created. It's my baby, and
Yeah.
now one of my other designers is doing something I don't really like. It's not how I would have done it, right?
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to take and release that and let them kind of do their thing.
Right.
But it's definitely worth it. Bringing people in to help you, so that way you can work on the business. You still have to work in it. I mean, you can't lose that connection that you get with customers when they come in. It's like, what do you want?
For sure.
I want this, that, and the other. You can't, because then you'll just get detached from it. But working on it, figuring out next steps, next moves, who you're going to hire, who's going to fill what positions, this, that, and the other. Like, that's something that you can't do if you're standing behind a desk all the time, organizing jewelry and doing the different stuff that you can pay other people to do.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with that. That's why I have 3 assistants. We agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And if there's something that I can put on someone else, even if I'm not 100% ready to take someone on right now,
Yeah.
and the right person comes up, I start thinking of like,
Yes.
what can
Agreed.
I put on this person, right?
Agreed.
Like, so this is
Yep.
he's a great worker, she's a great worker, she's great with she's
Yep.
great with her mind or whatever, that she can do some of our accounting work, which never ends. I mean, all this different stuff that we can kind of put on them. What else can I put on this person?
Yes.
How else can I free my day up?
Yes.
And for a few weeks there's a little bit of what am I going to do, but at no time my time fills up,
Yeah.
and so take something off my plate, give it to someone else, and you come back and there's something else for you to do, and that's how you grow. That's how the business really grows, when you can work on it instead of being in it. So I had some different books and different things I read over the years for the guys. Like, I always hired when the right person became available, not when I was ready, because you're never ready. Kind of like having a baby or
Oh,
getting
man, I love that you're saying this.
Yeah, you're never really ready to hire that person.
Yep.
But if you can work it out, hey, I work it out for a few weeks. I heard a guy say, well, at least got a few weeks, to figure out how I'm going to keep paying them, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, if they're great, a good person and not just trying to ride the clock, then they will make you money.
That's right.
And then now you're like, great, now I can turn my attention to making sure that my artists are taken care of better, or that we're starting storyboarding for a new commercial or something that I just didn't have the time to do before.
Right.
So
sometimes people just show up in our business and we're just like, yep, talent. They're going to crush it, like you said. Like, where can I find a place for this person?
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, what do you look for in that person who would like to work with you?
I don't just hire people just to be hiring them. Like, I need a position filled, who can I fill it with?
Right.
I'll just wait. I think I tell my team, or my artists, like, I'll have 2 or 3 booths open. Like right now I got 2 booths open, but I'm not in a hurry to hire anybody. And even if all my booths are full, when LeBron James walks in the court, he's getting a spot on the team, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If I'm playing pickup basketball and I feel really solid about my team, there's always that LeBron James out there, right?
Yep.
And when he walks onto the court, hey, I love you guys, right? And you guys can all hoop, but we're talking about LeBron James here, right? He's gonna make everybody better.
That's right.
So, I don't know if I'd rather just wait.
Yeah.
And I'm in a good position right now, honestly, knock on wood, because people are coming to me asking to work for us, asking to work at our new shops that are opening.
Yeah. We've been in that process though, so they're knocking at your door.
Sure.
What's kind of the filter system that you're looking for someone, or you're looking for in someone?
I want to make sure that they're going to work well with my team.
Okay.
Because I already have a lot of people. I have a family in place, right? At every shop, there's a family in place, and I don't want to bring someone that's going to offset that or upset it, right?
Right.
And the person might be great, and now I have to look at how can I put this person in there and make it so that they fit. Sometimes they don't.
Right.
But you can't sacrifice the team for one person. Like, so LeBron comes in and he's great, but as soon as he starts barking orders and not working, not passing or whatever, then LeBron takes a seat on the bench, and or LeBron gets asked, he gets traded or whatever. Like, so there's just making sure that your team is a team, and no one splinters that team.
Yeah.
Is super important.
Yeah,
that's like that'll be the main thing I look for. I go through all their social and talk to them.
Right.
And I'm meeting with guys tonight to talk about what shops they would work in, and if it's not going to be at our shop because I don't think this person's going to fit, then they're just not a good fit.
Right.
They could be the greatest tattoo artist in the world, but if it's not going to work in our shop, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
So,
thinking that life of abundance, right? That there's going to be some want. That
100%,
life of
yeah.
scarcity will set you up to get scarcity returns.
Yeah.
And if you're freaking out and you're like, I need to put someone in this chair, I need to put someone, it's going to destroy what I think is one of the most important things you need in your business, which is culture.
Yeah, sure.
And that you bring them in, like you said, and it's kind of like a splinter, and it ruins the culture. The people who are going to, listen, you're going to keep people, but they ain't going to be the people you want to keep.
Oh, yeah.
The
good people
are
leave.
Yep.
The people that you want to stay are going to end up leaving. And there's certain stuff I can't do. Like I can't. A guy comes to me and says, "I'm just not happy here. I can't find a girl. I'm gonna move to this whatever." Okay, great. If it's that home life thing and you're not happy at home, you can't stay in Fayetteville and you have to get out of it. Or there's too much bad influences in Fayetteville, wherever you have to leave. I can't solve that. But if someone's coming up and they're like, well, this, that, and the other, I'll kind of work with them. But there's some people you just can't work with, and if those people if good people are leaving because of someone that's just never really going to work out, like when a person gets voted off American Idol first week, right?
Oh no.
He probably shouldn't have been voted off the first week. I don't watch American Idol. I use this analogy they voted off the first week, and everybody's like, oh, they should have went home. So and so should have went home. I'm like, well, are they going to win? No, they're not going to win. Who cares? Like, if they're not going to win, why are we worried about it?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the people that are not going to win, they're not going to make it on the team. Like, we're going to fire them fast. We're going to hire them slow. We're going to fire them fast because the culture and the team and how the family works together is paramount over everything else. Obviously, they have to be a great tattoo artist. That's a given. But outside of that, just making sure that the people that you bring in are the right fit is super important. So,
what do you say to someone who's having that challenge where they feel like they're doing everything right? They're hiring slow. They're firing fast, but they cannot pick up momentum. What do you tell someone? Like, what should they be looking at? Maybe something in them or
gosh, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to look at so many different things to be able to make that out. I mean, like how sales, because usually when sales are high, everything's great.
Yeah.
So usually in a position like that, sales are probably low, or there's some sort of customer service issue. People aren't coming back or something like that. So there probably needs to be a bigger assessment of the business other than things aren't working out. What is causing it to be that way? Because if things weren't that way, you wouldn't have an issue attracting talent unless it's highly like a nuclear engineer or something, right? They just don't grow all trees. But for the most part, if you need agents, if you need customer service reps, if you need phone folks, you should be able to find them if the business is growing and everyone knows about it. Everyone wants to work for Zappos. Everyone wants to work for Apple. Everyone wants to work for different businesses that are doing great. So what is causing that? Like, why are you not attracting top talent, right? Mm-hmm. There must be some sort of deficiency in the business somewhere. We need to find it and address it. And once that's found and addressed, it won't be soon after you'll start attracting people. But don't keep people in your business that are harmful to the culture. Don't keep people around that are negative. Like, negative people in your shop are just or any place of business are just bad. Oh, it's going to be crap today, or this lady doesn't know what she wants, or whatever. Like, those people are never going to be satisfied. They're never going to be happy, and you need to cut them as quickly as you can. We want people that are going to come in and are going to be positive and be happy. So they might not be the best tattoo artists in the world. They might not be the best real estate agents in the world. But if they have a great positive attitude, then that's something you can kind of work with. Hopefully you can mold them. If you can't, then you say, hey, it just didn't work out. You're a great person, but you just are not getting this. You're not putting yourself out there enough. You're not asking for referrals. You're not doing the different things that you have to be doing to grow your business as a salesperson. So it's just not going to work out. But usually positive people don't have those issues. They figure it out, So
which kind of rings home to me, because brand is pretty big in my world.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd want to kind of align myself with anybody who will allow me to grow my brand. If I'm not allowed to grow my brand and I'm only told to grow your brand, it's not going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, past that.
No, it's the same thing in the tattoo world. Like, a lot of shops are like, don't give them your cell phone number. Don't put they want the shop to be put out there. They don't want them to be put out there. People are coming in to get tattooed by the artist, right? They might hear my marketing. They might come in, but that's only half of it. When they come in and get a great tattoo, now this person needs to put themselves out there. It's going to help everybody.
Agreed.
I give them business cards with their face on it, with their cell phone number on it, ATS on the back, and all that good stuff for the shop. But I'm like, here's your card, here's your brand, your social media on it, your cell phone number on it. My number's on the back. If you don't want your cell phone on the number, let me know. Some people don't. But this is your brand. Like,
right.
How are you going to do? Like, what do you want to do?
That's
like,
right.
You want to be known as a traditional artist? You want to be known as a black and gray realism artist? Like, what do you want to be known as? That's how we're going to push you. And then we run ads and specific ad sets geared to different people that are looking for different stuff for them to help them build their brand. And it's about pushing them as an artist and as a business person, because just like real estate agents, these tattoo artists are their own business.
That's right.
And to say, like, you want to grow, you want to get better in real estate, you want to get better in tattooing, here's some continuing education, right? Here's some seminars you can go to. Here's some conventions where you can go meet people. I'm going to bring people in to guest spot the shop that are on a different level, so that way we can, get kicked in the stomach and figure out what we're missing, what we're lacking.
Yeah.
A lot of people do have that brand issue. A lot of big companies do have that brand issue.
Yeah.
And when we first came in, I kind of struggled with it. Nicole's like, well, I don't know if I want to do that, because then they could leave. Okay, if they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave anyway.
That's right.
If I give, and I have so many artists leave, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I got a following, right? And they leave, and then the people keep coming back to the shop.
It's
right?
crazy the similarities. Keep going.
And so they come back. They keep coming back to the shop, and it's because we give them a great experience. They might have got a great tattoo from that person, but there's more to going in and getting tattooed. You're sitting in an extremely, much like buying a house, extremely uncomfortable situation, right? Biggest purchase of your life. It's aside from having a kid, it's a very painful process. You just sit there and there's nothing really you can do until it's finished, or else you're gonna walk around half done. So for these guys to think that the shop is responsible for, or not responsible either in any direction for some portion of that,
right?
Is silly. And for me as a shop owner to think that the tattoo artist is not responsible for some part of that is silly on my part. So, if I'm branding myself, my shop, I need to make sure I'm branding my artist and counter staff. And my counter staff have their own business cards. So just so I can put them out there and say, let people know who you are, man. Like, bring them in here, let them know what you do, what you're all about, because you are, our people are it,
That's right. It's kind of cool to hear. I love hearing different business owners in different worlds, because there's a lot of similarities, but I'm also I'm learning a little bit, right? And one of the things that you said, yes, branding is super important, which, by the way, this is why KW's been so good to us, because you're allowed to brand your own team, your own group, and your sign looks however you want your sign to look. It doesn't have to, And one of the things you said was, what do you want to be known as, right? And then you got deeper into, do you want to be a black and
black and realism,
yes, that traditional. I'm sure there's like color. I'm sure there's like
color rose, whatever. Do you want to be you want to do REOs? You want to new homes? Like what?
Oh, I was about to say, what? Yeah, well, that's in our world too. Okay.
Like what do you want to do, right? What do you mean? What do you want to be known as? Like when I'm branding you, when someone calls you a seller's agent, your listing agent, like what are you, right? So figure out what that is. Figure out your voice.
Yes.
And how you want to talk to people. How you want to be looked at. Like, are you Gary Vee yelling at somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Are you Ryan Stewman cussing at somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Are you any one of the greats just sitting up there with a microphone telling real clean jokes or whatever. Like, what do you want to be? Like, what kind of salesperson do you want to be known as? And if someone says, "Oh, you want a foreclosed property," I got the guy, right?
That's right.
You want new construction? My guy's in 10 neighborhoods or whatever.
That's right.
So brand yourself, figure out what you want your voice to be, and then just start running with it. Like I had a whole bunch of blog posts that I would send out to real estate agents guys years ago, and I read a book from Mark Cuban, and at the end of it, I was like, the book's a little weird, a little all over the place, but okay. And at the end of it, he's like, basically, I just took all my blog posts and put them together, and wrote them together. So
his brand sold that book.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
That's what he did.
And it has some great stories in it too.
Yeah.
But it's The Power of One or something, I believe. But no, that's not it. That's another one. Anyway, his book was pretty cool. And I got to the end of it, I thought, I can do that too, right? I had all these blog posts I wrote for real estate agents, and it was everything from find your colors, right? Like to find what fonts you like to use and keep them all the same, and like all these things build.
Yeah.
And don't just take one headshot. Like get a photo shoot taken. Like have all these different ones you can use, high resolution. Like I was trying to took all that and put it into a little ebook, And I mean, I still sell. They're like 99 cents on Amazon or something. I still sell a few every month, but I did the same thing, and it was the first portion of it was about branding, and the rest of it I'm sure is completely outdated social media stuff because that was 10 years ago or something stupid. So a lot of the blog posts were written years before I actually put them all together.
Right.
But it was like all these little things build to create your brand.
Yes.
So if I'm using Comic Sans on everything, I'm going to be looked at as a joke, right? If I'm using whatever.
Which, by the way, was the font to use back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah, MS Word, you were killing me back then. So, but, you know, like all these things build, and that builds your brand, and that's what you're known as. So, yeah, brand building's huge, especially now in the social media world. You know, the proven by Ruben type thing, and I don't know if you know, like we've met before years ago.
Of course.
Yeah. So my best friend is Pio.
Oh,
you and your daughter came over to Pio's house.
Hold on, birthday party.
Yeah.
In the slide fell.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like and I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. After whatever, she brought the kid, Dee Dee. Someone brought the kid over.
Yep.
Another couple of times where you weren't there, you were working or something, and to see you go from, I think you're in school back then or something.
Working
and
UPS.
Yeah, and now I see you like you're all over the place, your videos, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that's what's up. That's the brand that you're built, and it's built off nothing but pure hustle and determination and drive, right? It's not like someone came in and was like, hey, here's a thriving real estate business. Just sit down and keep rocking it. Like you just came in and you built all that and you did that. So, like that's all it really takes: a little bit of hustle, a little bit of drive, and building that brand. And once you built that brand, you've got that hustle, you got that drive. I mean, nothing can really stop you. Do the things that we talked about at the very beginning. Anybody, do the things that we talked about at the beginning. Make sure you're taking care of the customer and finding a good product, service, this, that, and the other. And then just keep kicking it in the face till somebody says stop, and then maybe stop. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
So, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe that's your new brand. The guy who got kicked in the face.
Kicks you in the face.
Yeah.
Come to the guy that kicks you in the face.
Yeah, exactly, right.
I was looking for a good face kicker.
Yeah. I mean, either way, we can spin it. We can make this work. And I love that you're saying that because, this is obviously what we talk about when we're talking to the businesses, like the real estate businesses, and we're constantly saying build your brand because you can move into different markets too, right? Like, who would have thought, like, you could brand yourself to where you're starting to. I'm not there yet, but you could start getting paid off podcasts. Or you can start getting paid off in merchandise. I got merchandise, right? That doesn't happen until you start branding yourself and people start believing your vision, your story. They want to be part of it and they buy into it through your brand, right? So and we get very purposeful on what do you want to look, what brand do you really want to be? We find those pillars. So it's just really cool to hear the tie-in that you're doing as well.
Sure.
I wish I was a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
I would jump in. I can draw.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, does that count?
Oh, yeah, sure. You gotta be able. I hate the guys that come in and it's like, no, I don't know how to draw, but this looks really cool. I just want to be a rock star. And I'm like, nah. You need some guys. You gotta have some artistic talent. And I understand like drawing names and infinity symbols and stuff is basically tracing, but what if they want something tricky? Or what if something else? Like we don't hire those guys. I'm sure there's someone else, but knowing how to draw and have the fundamentals of art and knowing like light sourcing and stuff like that really helps out.
You're working with a breathing canvas too, right? Yeah, so like if I draw, it's a freaking piece of paper laid down on a desk.
Yeah.
I remember Chop did my arm up here, and he drew a lot of it.
Yeah.
Right, because he knew my body's different than someone else's body.
Sure.
So it's just a totally different.
Yeah,
total respect to those guys.
So I did Chop's market years before I even thought about getting into the tattoo world. And so when I first started the convention, I went and talked to Chop. I said, "This is some ideas I want to do." And he's like, "Well, that's not my thing." I'm like, "Do you want to get involved in this?" He's like, "Man, that's not really my thing. This is definitely 100% you, but I'll help you as much as I can." He was one of our host shops. But I went around to different shops and tried to get their input and information. A lot of people are like, "Yeah, it's never going to work." But Chop was one of those guys who was like, "Yeah, man, this is definitely going to work. With you especially, just keep pushing it." And he's been instrumental to helping us get our stuff going. But he drew most of my stuff on too. I mean, he just took, because your body flows a certain way. Everybody's different.
Yep.
So he sits and draws it on to make sure it's perfect. It's exactly what you wanted. So
yeah. And so just to jump on something you just said, do you think that that's the space that people should be moving in when someone says that can't happen, that won't work?
Mm-hmm.
Because would you agree, or do you see it as, if the masses think it's not going to work, this is huge opportunity?
Oh yeah.
Because if I do, then I capture that market, and I move fast through that
for
market
sure.
because no one.
And there's no like after the convention last year, we got contacted by a place in South Carolina, right? And I look at them like, there's no conventions in South Carolina. Why is there no conventions in South Carolina? Myrtle Beach is a huge convention place. Everyone goes to Myrtle Beach to conventions. What's the problem? And we went down there and found out that the health department is
Dang health department.
even worse than the one, like ours is great here. I can't complain too much.
Yeah.
But this worse than any of the other states that I've looked at, and I'm like, why is this so? I understand the safety portion of it, but there's 20 to 30 tattoo conventions every weekend in the world. Why? It's a very common thing. Why can't we have it here? And
right.
Sometimes you're going to get that pushback where you're like, this is never going to work, right? They're never going to allow this to happen here. There's just too many obstacles and hurdles in the way. It'll be counterproductive. But 99% of the time, that's not the case. 99% of the time, most people get stuck at no, or they don't push enough, or they don't look around to see what's the way around this big immovable object in my way, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times that is the answer. That's how you're gonna, I can't make money doing that no more. Great. Now I'm gonna be broke for the rest of my life. And then they just sit and wallow, right? And they don't think like, well, what's the route? What's the end around, right? There always has to be a way to spin things or to get around something. Question everything and ask people why is that? Like in negotiation, how am I going to make that happen now?
Mm-hmm.
And then most people are like, well, you could do this, and you're like, great, that's what I'll do. There's a lot of stopping points to anything in business. A lot of things where what you feel like is a brick wall, and it's really just hey, you probably shouldn't go this way. Let's just try another direction.
Right.
And just figure out a different way to get through that wall.
Yeah.
Right? It's not always like bust it down. Sometimes it's step around it or find the hidden doorway or something. So
yeah, I'll definitely say I trust that people will surround themselves with people who ask them to question why they can't.
Sure.
Because you can find someone who believes your story, and if your story is that it'll never work, I'll never make money in it, you'll find someone that believes that story, and before you know it, you've surrounded yourself with people in that world. So if you're listening, and that sounds like your world, find someone who questions why it can't happen, and maybe finds a different route. Don't surround yourself with people who keep buying into that story you're telling them.
I think that's something that I really admire about Nicole, my wife. She's an entrepreneur too. And she had this audacity to ask certain things, and I'm like, why would you ask that? And the person's like, okay. And I'm thinking, how the hell? I would have never asked that person for that, right? Or we'll be somewhere, and she's like, why don't you? I think you should just give this to us because we're gonna come back. And the guy's like, okay. I'm like, wow, you just asked for it, right? And a lot of times, with the exception of the convention stuff, she got stalled on that, but. Well, in most cases, she's like, I'm going to ask him to do this for us. And I'm like, he's never going to do that. Why would you ask him to do that? That's crazy. And then she asked them, and they're like, well, we can't do this, but we can meet you halfway, or we can go 3/4 of the way. And
it starts the conversation.
I went the whole way. And now you're meeting me, 3/4 of the way. So you only got to go a quarter of the way, or only have to do this or that. Like, it starts a conversation, and it definitely helps people see other ways to skin a cat or whatever.
Right.
They're like, well,
exactly.
Okay, well, maybe we can do it this way or that way, But yeah, that's something that I've definitely picked up from her, and I 100% admire about her and other people that you get on your team. I mean, if somebody comes along and they're able to say like, why not, or why should we? Why shouldn't we do this?
And disruption's huge.
Yeah, disruption is 100%. Something that you definitely look for when you look for somebody. If there's someone who's going to question you, that's not always a bad thing, unless you're questioning you like, well, you're an idiot. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm not an idiot, but this is why.
Yeah.
But if someone's like keeps pushing you, then yeah, definitely someone that you should look for. So.
See, coaching clients, you should always keep me around. You see, this is a good. I'm gonna keep pushing you. I feel like right now, because this podcast hit about 2 weeks, right? I feel like Nicole is hugging you or giving you a high five right now.
Yeah.
Like she is like loving you so much, man. But I think that's important. You know Ralph Locklear?
Yeah.
He runs. Yeah. So I did a podcast with him, and he talked about just how important it is to have that spouse that is always supporting you and pushing you and keeping you going. So
just to jump in on that is that one time I had an investment from with my agency, and the guy said, hey, I want to invest in your agency. You guys are doing great things, this, that, and the other. So I said, okay, cool. Me and my partner met with him, and he said, I'll give you the money, but I have to meet your wives first. This is our previous marriage.
One of our teams do that.
She was not, my ex-wife's a great person. She's a great mom. But the entrepreneurial lifestyle was not for her.
Right.
And I get it. I completely understand. When we got together, we were young. But, when we met, I think that he's seen, not only from her, from my partner's wife too, they didn't have anything to do with the business. They weren't in it. They didn't want to. And so we're like, I think that was one of the major reasons why he decided he wasn't going to invest in our company. And he sat us down and said, like, there's a lot of different reasons, but one of the main reasons is, we went to dinner and things I felt like they were disconnected from the business. And that's okay, but I don't want to invest in a company that has wives of the people that own the company disconnected from the business, because what your spouse or significant other or partner does to support you, to prop you up, to push you up when you're, eating ramen is what you need to get through certain hurdles. And if you don't have that, I don't know if this is really gonna work out. So I just always remember that. And Nicole, or anyone that's on your team or people that you hire, whatever, your spouse, you should have that conversation with them. This is what I want to do. I understand it's not necessarily something that you want me to do or that you want to do, but I think that you need to at least love me enough or respect me enough to support me through this. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But if the people that are behind you pushing you, like your spouse, are pushing you as hard as you're pushing yourself, or if not more, that's huge, for growth and for becoming the type of person or business that you want to be. So.
Yep. Yeah, we have one of our teams that does that. For any buyer's agent or listing specialist that wants to join their business, they'll go out to lunch and they'll meet their spouse and they'll have that conversation, because they were burned in the past.
Oh yeah.
So it's something that it's a standard now. It's what they do, and it's part of their vetting process as well.
Well, you put a ton of hours in when you have your own business, and if the other person doesn't want to have anything to do with all those hours, you're missing hours with your significant other. And that is a huge strain on the relationship. Yeah. Nicole and I are together almost all the time. I'm going to go pick her up and we're going to go to another meeting at 6:30. So there's we're always together. And she went to the beach for 2 days before I did, because I had some stuff to wrap up here. And she's calling me every day, and we're talking every day, and we're messaging every day. And I'm like, just other people that are like, oh, I can't wait to get away from him or her or whatever. But we work so well together. It's definitely something that I think everyone needs to look for, or at least have a very serious conversation with someone if you're thinking about getting serious with them. Right. Like I did with Nicole. Listen, I love to work. I work a lot, 60, 80 hours, whatever. I'm always working. So if you are not down for that,
without
it's my thing, right? So some guys like to, drink or do push-ups or shoot basketball or whatever. Yeah. I like to do those things too, but in moderation. Definitely basketball now that I'm older. But this is something that I do all the time. So this is me. It's what defines me. It's who I am. So ensure that that's a huge thing. I'll never forget sitting across from that investor. This guy's about to hit a six-figure check, possibly. And then he just tells me that, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so when we did get, divorced, I'm like, I'm never gonna get married again. I'm just gonna work on my business all the time. This, that, and the other. I don't have to worry about that. And I met Nicole, and I'm like, this is perfect. So she's 100% about the things that I'm about. So if you're out there listening and you're thinking about, well, my wife doesn't fully support me or my husband doesn't fully support me, then there needs to be a super serious conversation with them, because this is probably, I'm going to guess, who you are as a person. And if you're dumbing that back, you only have so many days in this world. Yeah, so you might as well just keep pushing it and find someone that is going to, be a cheerleader the whole time. And I'm not in any way speaking negatively about my ex-wife. She's an amazing person.
Yes.
But, you know, there is a lot. I mean, she found exactly what she wanted.
Exactly.
And I found exactly
Right.
what I wanted.
That's right.
And so that's all that you can wish is
Yeah.
to be rich in life and to be, you know, have some money in the bank account.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I mean, because regret will kill you.
oh yeah.
And if you decide that that's something you want to surround yourself with, and it's going to be someone who doesn't push or hold you back because it's just not there, it's not a good fit. When you get older and you look back, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah, you're gonna be
It's going
upset.
to freaking kill
Especially
you.
when it don't work out 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And you look back and it's like, damn, 20 years ago I could have done something completely different. You know, I could have jumped in that Bitcoin craze or whatever it is that you were just thinking about doing that your significant other says no to. You know, and sometimes those no's are validated and they make sense.
Right.
But it's more like the interaction of the back and forth, right?
That's
So
right.
I guess just someone just say no because that's not what I'm into. Someone to say, you know, I don't think that'll work. Let's try something else or something like that.
Right. Be a solution.
Yes, exactly. So if you have somebody that can do that, you're light years ahead of most people. So
Yeah. Agreed. So I know that you have another meeting to go to, so I'm just going to read off a few questions.
okay, sure.
Okay? I'm going to spitfire them at you. Do you have a favorite failure that you believe has set you up for success?
Yes. I had a server crash and lost 250 websites right after I bought my partner out, and I was sales wise. I started reading these books and I got really good at sales. I felt like I was, you know, creative. I can do sales now, like, you know. And then right before Christmas, we had a server it was actually going through its backup, and while it was backing up, something corrupted this, that, and the other, whatever. Anyway, it crashed, and we lost a ton of websites. It took us months to recuperate from that, and I ended up having to, take and sell my portion of the business to the 219 group, or the business to the 219 group, because I was like, I'm just in a really tough spot. But I've been prepared. Everything's backed up. Everything's in the cloud now. Like I don't. My servers have like 3-4 layers of protection. Hackers out there, if you listen to me, don't try it, please. I don't know how great it is, but it's been pretty legit. So it's helped me to be better prepared. Like max out all my insurance policies now. I make sure that I take calculated risks. You know, so it's definitely a huge. It was a huge punch to the stomach whenever that happened. But,
such a good punch, though.
Yeah, man. You know, like at first you're like, this is the end of the world. You know, I'm in the floor of my office on A Street crying because my, stuff broke down. I got Christmas and I got a new, baby daughter and this, that, and the other. But, now 10 years later, I'm looking back and I'm like, that happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Because if things would have kept going, they would have just kept going the way they were going.
Right.
If I didn't have that, it wouldn't have pushed me to bring in Kirk and bring in the 219 group and.
That's right.
It changed my life completely. So, huge. That really sucked.
Yeah. Well, it's good you learned from it and didn't just jump out of the business because of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I love this question. What have you gotten better to saying no to?
Things that waste my time. And I understand that a lot of people want to, like, they contact me about different stuff, wanting to meet with me, wanting to talk to me. A lot of people think I'm still doing the brand, social media.
Oh, right.
Search.
Yeah.
And so they'll call and I'm like, I don't do that anymore. I can give you 5 people. But they're like, no, I want to work with you, whatever. Like, I just don't do that anymore. So, like, telling people no, I would take the meetings. And I still take a lot of meetings that I probably shouldn't, but I've turned down way more. I kind of think and say, is this something that is gonna waste my time?
Right.
Should I be doing something else? Should I send? So what I've started doing is sending an email out saying, what are we going to meet about? If you can explain it here, this, that, and the other. I need to know exactly what I'm walking into before I move stuff around or set time. I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but this is what I'm sorry. I didn't mean to,
no, you're good. You're good.
I just want to make sure that this is going to be worth my time. Not trying to be,
Well, and they'll maximize their time too, right?
Yeah,
if you know what you're going into.
I walk in and say, this is what you got to do, bud. You know what I mean? That makes it a lot easier than just coming in and saying, tell me the story again.
That's right.
Read it on my way or something.
Yep.
So, telling people no that I want a meeting, because it drives Nicole absolutely crazy. It has to be something I've definitely gotten better at, that she'd say she was proud of for sure. So
there's another hug. I can feel it.
Yeah.
There went another hug. If you had 1 extra hour a day, what would you do with it?
I'd work out. I don't work out as much as I need to, and I know I can fit that time in. but you know, from the time I wake up in the morning and make pancakes for the kids every single morning and take them to school and do this and that, there's always like some fire to put out or some call or some meeting or something.
Right.
So I, you know, and I've started eating a little bit better. But it's just hard when you work as much as you do. But it's just an excuse. I need to figure that out and fit it in. But if I had an extra hour, I would definitely be doing supersets to help play somewhere. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say one thing that helped me out was it's a little bit of a dry book.
Yeah.
Don't kill me, guys who wrote the book. But it's got great information and very there's a lot of tactics you can pull out of it.
Yeah.
It's called The One Thing.
Yeah.
Have you read that book, The One Thing?
Is that by the Williams folks?
Jay Papasan, Gary Keller.
Gary Keller, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have it. I started reading it. I didn't finish it, but it's one of my it's huge.
Yeah.
Which when you listen to is never that big a deal.
Yeah.
But I have I'm all over the place. So if it doesn't pull me in, but not haven't read it. But.
Yeah. That's one thing that helped me out. Then when it comes to exercising and eating right,
or
just trying to make things fit in 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and being very purposeful in the time that I've allocated for whatever that is.
Yeah. You know? So like David Allen, all of his like ways to break things down and get stuff done.
Yeah.
And then I think it's how the Miracle Morning.
Miracle
Mornings.
Yeah.
I don't get up as early as I used to, but when I first read it, I started getting up and I started doing things, and things started to happen. Right. So as long as you're positive and you get up and obviously having more hours in your day, like ET says, you know, more hours. Someone's up earlier than.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. You know, time management is always going to be that, you know, thing hanging over entrepreneur's head. How do you squeeze more time out of your day?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I love Miracle Morning because I knew it made sense to wake up early.
Yeah.
But I need, like you said, I need it broken down for me.
Yeah, sure.
And that gave me Savers, right? And it was it followed this model, SAVERS, and you'll have a great morning.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So I just needed that tactic.
Yeah.
I needed that tactic. That was my hack into a
yeah.
morning. So I love that book.
And you know, you think there's like the Crushing book, he gives you these examples. These are people that do it, have done what I've said.
Yeah.
This is what's happened to them. This is how they grew. And you see that growth and you're like, wow, I'm going to try it. You know, so start getting up early, start working out, start doing different stuff, eating a little bit better. And then, you know, you get off track, but you still know the principles and fundamentals, and you just, you know, get back into it, which is something I need to do.
Yeah. All right, so what is a mistake you're seeing newbies do in your industry?
Coming in acting like they made it. I mean, people forget you have to put the hard work in. There's a lot of work. These guys come in, let's say tattoo artists or promoters or shop owners or whatever, and they just kick the door in and they're like, here I am, give me what I've owed. And you're not owed anything in this world. You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have this in the real estate field. Agents come in expecting to be given, you know, email box full of leads and not have to do anything, and not have to cultivate or look out to get their own things, or not have to brand themselves as a tattoo artist to try to attract people online. I'm not going to. Why would I respond to Facebook messages? You guys have me filled up, because you're not always going to be working here with that attitude.
Right.
So you need to build your own brand and build your own clientele and following.
Right.
But there's a lot of people, especially in the marketing world and online marketing, that want to come in and they might have had a pretty good run initially, but they feel like they're owed something. Yeah, I made this money and now I'm an expert. And you're not an expert, right? You're not you just got in here. Slow down.
Yeah.
Hit the brakes, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I like people that are more humble, even though sometimes I toe that line of humbleness and, you know, not so much, but there's people, the newbies coming in feeling like they're owed something. If you come in and you work your ass off, you're going to get it. It's just going to be, the people are going to be more apt to give it to you later on.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier.
That's why I like the guys like Gary Vee, right? Because he's saying, you're going to eat crap for a very long time. You know, and that's one of the expectations for anybody who's going to coach with me. That's one of the first things I talk about is you're going to eat crap. It's not going to, especially in this business, our deal's in 90 days out.
Yeah.
You definitely, for sure, if you get something under contract today, it's still going to be a while.
Yeah.
But you got to work to even get something under contract. So you're going to eat crap for a while and you're going to fail.
Yeah.
So set that expectation up front that is you're going to eat a lot of crap.
So for a real estate agent,
they
say it's 6 months or so before you actually are rolling. You know? Even if you hit the ground running day one.
Yes.
So, I mean, 6 months is a long time.
Yes.
So these people have to understand that this is going to be great for you, just
Right.
not right now.
That's
and
right.
you have to keep cramming that pipeline so that
That's
way in 6 months, in a year, you can look back and be like, cool, this
Yes.
is working. Because there's so many people that do the real estate thing and it's like, I tried it.
For sure.
Didn't work out. You know, Nicole has her real estate license. She had a real estate license, but she never hung it anywhere. She just
Right.
thought it was something cool to do
Right.
when she wasn't teaching. And so I'm sure there's probably a lot of like part-time real estate agents,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that come in acting full-time.
Mm-hmm.
But those people are coming in expecting something and leaving the hard work portion out of it. So,
yeah, and sometimes their whys are a little bit different. You know, they don't mind closing one every 6 months.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
If you're looking to build what we call level 7 business, where you put a CEO in charge and you're not out of the business because you're always gonna have that mind share in the business, but you're basically out of the business. You have someone run the business. You're gonna work. You know, it's gonna be a ton of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. That takes years. You know. But yeah, it depends on their why and their motivation behind that for sure. But one of the expectations is, by the way, you're gonna see a lot of people leave this business.
Yeah.
Just stick in, keep doing what I'm saying to do,
Yeah.
and everything will work
Don't
out.
feel bad whenever the people when you're the last person left in your class that came in, you know, and everyone else is gone, or and not doing real estate anymore because, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. Sales is a tough job to be in.
Yeah, and I find that as opportunity. Because
Oh,
if
yeah.
I'm in a class of 30 and I'm number 30 and 29 left, if I did a good job and put them in my database and I'm contacting them, they will in essence be leverage for me to help me grow my business because they're no longer in the business.
That's right. And they're gonna be like, "This is that great guy in my class."
Yes, that's right.
He's proven.
Yeah. By Ruben.
By Ruben.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. What is a mistake you're seeing seasoned people do in your industry?
Relax. I mean, so like, I went through it too. You start winning, and you start doing well, and you have 15 employees, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take my foot off the gas, right? And you know, a lot of times people in any industry, no matter what, they get comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, oh, things are always gonna be this great, and so they relax. You know, artists stop growing. They stop going to continuing education. They stop looking at DVDs. They stop learning new processes and procedures. They shun off new advancements in the industry. They stop growing, and they get happy. Like they just get fat and happy and just kind of sit there and look. And this with anybody, whether you're a salesperson, a tattoo artist, a promoter, or whatever, you feel like the good times are always going to be there. But I'm telling you, there's some young kid who wants to take your lunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like you have to be ready for that. And if you get, you know, I mean, no one knew who American Tattoo Society was, you know, 3.5 years ago when I bought Skin Brick City. Like no one had I didn't even own the domain name yet, you know. So in 4 years to secure a contract and be on all the bases and the first and only ever tattoo shop on the base and stuff, you know, 4 years ago, whoever was number one probably had no clue that some guy was going to leave.
That's right.
And start his thing, right? So you have to always be ready. You can't be comfortable. You can't be complacent. Someone is going to come and try to take your lunch.
That's
and,
right.
You know, if you want to eat, you're going to have to keep it.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Yeah, people getting comfortable. It drives me crazy when I see someone like. I mean, I take a lot of vacations. I go on a lot of. I can't knock people for taking breaks if they work as much as they should be working. But it's the people that I know have their foot off the gas, and I see it, and I'm like, man, this girl, whatever, could really be killing it. They're gonna get killed one day because you know, Ryan Harrell wasn't in tattooing 4 years ago, and now he is, and I'm not gonna stop. You know, I'm just gonna keep pushing. So.
Yeah, one of the things we look for is learning-based agents. No matter if they've been in the business for 20 years, they have to understand and know that they don't know everything. You know, and I take pride that you know, yes, I'm helping people grow a business. I am sitting front row when there's a class, and I am there and I'm learning because even if it's something I know, I feel like I know, that person is gonna have a different perspective, and I'm like, whoa, that's what I can implement.
Isn't it funny now how like. You know, I don't know how you went to school, but I was not a huge fan of school.
100%.
I went to college just
Agreed.
because everybody said I had to go to college.
Yep.
Like, this is the next thing you do,
Same.
loser. Why shouldn't I go to college?
Yep.
I'm like, well, shit, I'll go to college, I guess.
Yep.
Right? And I went and I had a great time. I started doing website design, shooting basketball, and playing Tony Hawk every day.
Tony Hawk.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yep.
PlayStation 1. Still play the soundtrack every once in a while. Yeah, Tony. you know, like I see people that you know, come in and they're not 100% committed, you know, to the long vision, and you know, you're just like, what are you even doing right now?
Yeah.
You know, if you're not gonna go 100% or go all in, what's the purpose? You know, so yeah. So.
Agreed. And I fell into the same. I would. We don't use try too often because there's really never try. But I would try this school thing, and I could just, no matter how hard I tried, I would still get B's and C's, and I was trying because I felt like that was what you were supposed to get. And so I was doing my best. It just was never really. I couldn't get the hang of it.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Isn't it funny how like, wasn't that in the school now? Now you get older and you're like,
oh
shit, I can learn all this stuff.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Like I can figure out how to, you know, fix my washer, or you know.
Why do you think that is?
Man, I have no clue. But I'm telling you, I hated school. But if you told me like, right now you can read a book and you can. I mean, I've read Tattooing A to Z like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
I've read Dynamic Light and Shade, all these books that they say you have to read to be a tattoo artist. I'm like, I want to read it because I want to know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and some of the stuff that doesn't even really interest me, like the oncoming falling of the stock market or whatever, I'm like, well, let me just learn about it, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's coming.
I'm driving or whatever, let me just, you know, figure it out. So, yeah, back in the day, you know, like, look, I mean, even I was really into skateboarding, you know, baseball, whatever. If you'd been like, hey, read this book about the history of baseball, I'd be like, okay, reluctantly.
That's right.
But like now, I'm like, you know, let's figure out about the guys that, you know, built America, or the guys that built the frontiers, or like those shows are riveting to me now.
Yeah.
And back then I'd be like, I don't care about, you know, Lewis and Clark. And then you're finding out later that like they thought dinosaurs were out there, you know, and you're like, wow, how cool is that? You know, I don't know, the whole education thing. I think it just when you're young, you feel like there's so much that you have to figure out. I don't want to stay stuck in this classroom.
Right.
As you get older, you're like, no, man, I should have been in the classroom. I should have been paying more attention. I should have been learning Spanish, you know, instead of goofing off in Spanish class, for God's sake. So, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach my kids. I'm like, you know, there's an app for that. You can actually learn Spanish right now.
Yeah.
Learn it. Yeah. You're gonna need it. You know, or there's you know, you can read a book on, you know, whatever, how to read faster, or you know, something. I don't know.
Yeah. I just, you know, and when you went with kids and education, I just want my daughter to throw 100% on the field. You know, and analogy, right? English class, whatever. If she makes a D, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I just want her to just show up.
Yeah.
And like, and honestly, if she builds a team of people that help get this, like, whatever, but just throw 1,000% in, you've tripled A in my world, right?
Sure.
So I just want to see that and just showing up and doing it.
Like my ex-wife used to always get upset because I'm like, they get mad when they didn't win, and I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
You should be upset that you didn't win.
Yeah.
You should always want to win. It should be okay if you lose.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be a sore loser. Just congratulate the person, but you should still deep down want to win every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way I've always felt. So like, you know, we're at school, even at award ceremonies, and the guys like, we didn't all win, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to not win. I'm like, no, it's not. It's okay to not win. You should want to win.
Yeah.
You should not be a sore loser. You should still congratulate the people that won. But in the back of your head and your heart, you should be like, yeah, great for this guy.
Yeah.
But I still want to be number one.
Isn't it interesting, like, being a parent? So one of the things I've kind of trying to figure this thing out is give enough to your kid to where they feel comfortable, but don't give enough to your kid to where they feel comfortable. Because I always want more. Yeah. Even more than I'm getting. Like, it's a weird balance.
It's really tough, especially when you get to a point where you can give them what they want, and you're like, I didn't have that. I mean, my parents worked hard, but you know, I didn't grow up in you know, where I was given whatever I wanted. I mean, I wore my sister's clothes in elementary school and junior high until she was old enough to buy us clothes. You know, working bus. It's like, you know, I look back and I'm like, yeah, man, you're gonna have that. Is that what you want? You want a green screen? Let's get you a green screen. You know, whatever they want, I kind of do for them, and you know, I'm seeing that now as you're getting a little bit older, is that they're kind of expecting that. And I tell Nicole, I'm like, I'm going to pull up in front of the crappiest hotel I can find next time we go on vacation and be like, this is where we're staying, just to see what their reaction is, because I feel like they would be like, I would hope they'd be like, okay, let's roll with it, you know. But I have a feeling they'd be like, no, I'm not staying here.
So I'm going to sleep in the car.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like it is weird. Like, how do you do that? Because in your head you want to do that, and I don't want to be, these guys that I'm not giving you a dime, you have to work for it, this, that, and the other. I don't want to do all that because what did I do all this for if I couldn't give my kids a great life, you know what I mean? If I couldn't do better, they couldn't have more than I had or whatever that American dream is. But, it's a tough thing, man. I don't know the answer to it, and I don't know that anybody does. But, yeah, it's kind of weird that I'm like, man, if I would have had all this stuff when I was a kid, who knows what I would have turned into? Maybe
that's
I would have turned into a loser, But,
because there's so much we learned. And by the way, you talk about creative, like, you had to be creative.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't buy creative.
Yeah.
You had to work with what you had.
Yeah.
And you got creative doing it.
I mean, we played baseball every day, shot hoops. We didn't have a ton of video games, so if you go to a friend's house and play video games, that was great. But we didn't have them. So you just figure stuff out, and our kids are like, which one do I want to be on my iPad, my iPhone, and my kids are 10, an iPad, iPhone, PlayStation 4, Switch. I mean, there's a TV in every room that's connected to Netflix. They can watch whatever they want to at any point in time. If you'd have given me that, I would have thought I had invincibility. Right? When I was a kid, oh my God, I can watch any movie I want at any point in time in my life. I just click it and it just comes on. What kind of wizardry is this, right? But now my kids are like, what do you mean you had to go to the store and pick up something and take it home? Like, that's weird.
I remember going to Rose's. Remember Rose's used to have tapes? And we didn't have enough money to get like 3 rentals, so we would try to hide one rental behind another tape, so the next time we came back, hopefully it'd be there.
For sure, Beetlejuice. We used to do that with Beetlejuice at Dan Hope Mills. We come in, little tags were hanging, and we're like, oh man, Beetlejuice. And then we came in, we'd already written something, someone returned, and we're like, hang it somewhere else so we get it next time. Like,
there were little hacks, but that's the creative side, right? Like, you had to be creative.
Now my kids are like, Dad, just buy it. What are you talking about? Just rent it real quick. It's a problem. It's not really a problem, but I mean, I'm going to rent 6 videos tonight. We're only going to be here one night. Like, just pick one.
Right. Yeah. If you were to choose one, which one would it be? All right. Purchases of less than $100 that have most improved your life.
Man, the pop socket on the back of my phone is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I use it all the time, and I can't tell you how many times I've dropped my phone or done whatever, and since I've had this...
Is there a logo on it too?
Yeah, I put my logo on it.
Awesome.
This is actually my second case. The other case has one on it as well, so this one charges the phone. But, I mean, that thing was like $15, $20, I don't even remember what it was. But, I mean, I use it all the time. I mean, I'd like to think of something cooler, but right off the top of my head, I mean, that's something that I use every single day. Every time I pick up my phone, I use it. Every time I'm taking a selfie or taking a picture or something or whatever, like, it's there to document. It helped me document my life for my kids or my grandkids or whoever's watching. So,
might have to give me one.
Yeah, man, it's definitely worth it. It's 100%. Yeah, you can get your face put on it, whatever. I mean, just go on the PopCycle website and enter it, put it in,
and write it off.
Write it off.
Okay. Put my logo on it.
That's it. That logo.
Okay, so what question do you have for me?
And I know you had some other local folks on the show. Is this like a local podcast, or you have visions of growing it, huge, or? So
that was the vision, local. Local expert. Sure. Get a little bit deeper, hear other people's stories. Humans are attracted to stories. I was gonna stay local level, and it's funny, a mind that expands never retracts, right? And I jumped into this thing, and now other people are contacting me that aren't local.
Yeah. And
they're rock stars. I mean, almost grossing $1 million in real estate, and it's like, do I say no? They've got value to give to people, and they've got a cool story, and it's a story about an empire that falls. They lose everything, and they have to build it back up. So it was supposed to be local, but a mind that expands never retracts, and I just see that there's a lot more opportunity.
Even the people locally that listen to the podcast can get something out of that.
Exactly.
So it's 100% worth it. And, there's so much business in Fayetteville. I love Fayetteville, grew up here, Hope Mills, Fayetteville. And went away to Charlotte, never thought I was going to come back. But there's so much in Fayetteville that people don't understand. And, that's why we do so much for Fayetteville, because this is our home. Yeah. This is where we're from. This is where we're always going to be. Hopefully knock on wood. But this is, I love it here. There's lots of opportunity. And a lot of people that say there's no opportunity here just aren't thinking or aren't looking around them and seeing all the opportunity that's available to them. So.
And they're just not stepping out. I mean, you got to step out. You know, like I said, you're gonna find someone who believes your story, and you're gonna surround yourself with the wrong people when it comes to that. So just step out. You'll find it. There's a whole beautiful world in Fayetteville, and there's a lot of great people in Fayetteville that you can mastermind with, talk with,
Definitely.
and help pull you up in
Definitely.
industry or passion that you want to be in. It's a great place.
Definitely. No, that's. I really don't have a lot of. I've seen you grow, seen you do the things you're doing, pushing yourself online. I really think it's awesome, and you know, cool. Keep rocking, bro.
Of course, will do.
Rock it, bro.
Yeah. Last question do
Yeah.
you have for anyone who's listening? So that way they can leave a comment, maybe we can check it out one day. Or what question do you have for people listening?
I mean, what's an issue? If I could help anybody, or any of us could help any of these folks, what's something that they feel like is stopping them from doing what they want to do? If someone wants to be, wants to play basketball professionally, or wants to do something, what's that audacious goal that you want to do? I want to start my own business. I want to be a caterer. I want to do whatever. Like, what is that? And what's actually stopping you from doing it? Because when you sit and think about it, there probably is nothing stopping you. Like, there's really probably nothing preventing you from becoming the #1 podcast in the world, or becoming the #1, whatever. So if you, it's kind of like when you're building a business, and you build the business in the beginning with the idea that you're going to sell it, even if you're not going to sell it. That way you're more in tune with numbers and making sure you're tracking things and stuff like that. Well, if you're thinking about that from the very beginning, what is going to stop me? How can I can overcome any obstacle? Like, if you have that right mind frame and you start asking the right questions to yourself, you can probably answer your own questions. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything that anybody has, I'm pretty available on social media. All of us, William Harrell, on all my social media. If anybody wants to, reach out or comment on the video, and I'll reply as quickly as I can. But yeah, I mean, I guess I would say, what's stopping you from doing or being who you want to be, or whatever you want to do? Ask yourself that question. You probably will find the answer before I can answer it. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are gonna look at yourself, right? Because you can blame other people all day, but until you look at yourself, I mean, you're the one that's stopping yourself.
For sure.
So, but if it is someone else, we might tear them up in the comments just so they can get past that and move forward, man. Just move forward. Yeah. Awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you stopping by.
Definitely, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.